Welcome to the Market Bull. I'm Sarah Powell, and joining me is Power Metal Resources CEO Sean Wade. Sean, great to be speaking to you this morning.
Morning, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So we've seen the very exciting uranium update, which combined with the strategic investment from Rick Rule seems to suggest the company is really looking to fast-track the uranium portfolio. So can you tell us just what is the opportunity here and why is it such an exciting prospect?
Yes, absolutely. Well, look, we've been talking about our uranium portfolio for a little while now. We've got 17 properties in total in and around the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan in Canada. And I think, we've been very clear, I think, with shareholders that we are very positive on uranium as a commodity. It's, I think, widely accepted now that it's a significant clean energy alternative fuel, and that nuclear power is an important part of the mix. When we look at decarbonising our economy, so it's an important investment for us, and has been for some time. And it's now time to really get going on the exploration program and start to prove up the drill targets, so that we can start delivering on that portfolio for our shareholders.
Wonderful, thank you. So for those who perhaps haven't had time to read through the entire update, which was very comprehensive, can you summarise the exploration campaign and touch on the acquisition of the Perch River Project?
The important thing about this exploration campaign, first of all, it's the biggest one we've ever done in uranium. So this is a major investment and a major statement of intent for us. But it's early stage exploration. So it's important people understand that what we're talking about here is geophysical and ground-based surveys, the purpose of which is to identify and prove up the drill targets for the major exploration program that will follow. So this is designed to better understand the asset set and the individual licenses, so that we can progress it from here to the next stage. Now, this is something that investors will have seen us do elsewhere in the portfolio. Malopo Farms Complex is a very good example of that, which we talked about recently. So, what we're seeking to do is to add value to this collection of licenses, take them to the next stage of understanding, and as I say, by so doing, prove out our drill targets. Now, Perch River, you mentioned in particular, this is a very important strategic move for us. It crosses a threshold in a way, because it takes us over 1,000 square kilometers of overall footprint in and around the basin. Perch River itself is within the basin, within the Athabasca Basin. So it's in that sense, it's highly prospective. Now, these assets aren't easy to acquire. We've got a great team of geologists who are very good at this, at the staking process, and they're very experienced at it. And we managed to acquire it at a reasonably modest cost. I think people will have seen that in the announcement. We also have a 2-year term on the license with no minimum spending requirement, which we can then subsequently extend for a fairly modest spend per year. So this is a great value acquisition for us. It's less than 10 kilometers from the northern basin edge, and the geology here potential is extremely interesting. It's prospective for both basement and sandstone hosted unconformity related uranium deposits, and the geologists are extremely excited about what they might find. There's a lot of detail in the release that people can get to their teeth into, and I think what we are planning to do, and not just on Perch River but on the portfolio in general, I think is to provide ongoing information on what the geology means, and give some good visuals on what we're trying to do there, because there is a lot for people to get their head around. As you said, it's a very comprehensive announcement, so we're going to be hopefully demystifying some of this and putting it into a form that is easier for people to digest. But I think specifically on Perch River, it's a strategic move for us. It's a relatively inexpensive acquisition, and it takes the overall footprint up to above 1,000 square kilometres.
Thank you for summarising that there, and congratulations on that particular acquisition. Finally, can we talk about the plan to expedite the spin-out of Uranium Energy Exploration? What is the timing for this, and how does it sit in terms of priority alongside the plans for First Development Resources and New Ballarat Gold, of course, the other vehicles of Power Metal?
Yes, well, UEE, as we call it for short, is it's been on the go for a little while. What we've intended to do, we've had Well, it's very clear, I think, that there is serious demand, investor appetite and demand for a pure play exploration company in London, which focuses on these sort of Canadian, or the Athabasca area in particular. Investors, I mean, if you go to Canada, there were quite a few exploration plays that investors can buy. In London, very few, and certainly if you want to focus on this highly prospective area, it's extremely difficult to do that. So we're meeting investor demand by creating a spin-out vehicle, which is going to into which we're vending 2 of our licenses. I mean, we detailed that not just in this press release, but in previous ones, so people can find out about that. We're well advanced with an emission document and the various other collaterals that we need to undertake the listing. We've got a board structure in place, and the company is formed, and all the things that you need to undertake the listing. So what we need to do now is to raise the necessary funds to get it listed, and then it'll be on its way. The way I look at this is, we have multiple work streams going on simultaneously, so there isn't necessarily a sort of order of priority in that sense. However, First Development Resources is well advanced, and that's happening soon. So we've just had a very successful trip to Australia, where we've seen a lot of investors, and we're very confident that we're going to get that one across the line fairly soon. So I think that's most likely to be the next one that people are going to hear about. New Ballarat, we've talked about the hope and the potential for an IPO. I think that's going to be a little bit later in the year. We've got there's quite a lot of work to be done there to get that ready for an IPO, but certainly the early response we've had has been very positive, that the market would like to see those assets listed, and it's an area with a great history of exploration, and it's a high quality set of assets. So that's our intention. But I would say, as it stands at the moment, investors can expect to hear First Development Resources, probably UEE after that, and then we'll get going on New Ballarat. But as I said, these things all sort of happen simultaneously. So it rather depends on market conditions at any particular time.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, thank you so much for the update and taking time to talk through this important announcement. We'll look forward to hearing more news in due course.
Thanks very much, Sarah.